Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Wonderful to see so many folks out today. Now, usually, I have to warn you, I have to speak after Minister Buller. And usually, Minister Buller steals all my best jokes. So, I don't know how you managed to keep him silent on the stage, but maybe because there was just an election, he doesn't feel the need to chat anymore. But congratulations on your reappointment, Minister. We're thrilled to have you in that position. So I'm very, very pleased to be here with all of you today to celebrate all of these great educational achievements. And let's hear it first of all for all of the dedicated volunteers who put on this event year after year. It's important for us, I think, to celebrate the achievements of young people and their educational and their extracurricular achievements in our community. Because what we're celebrating is, in fact, something very, very special. I will pause for a moment here to acknowledge my colleague, Alderman Richard Putmans, who's just joined us. Thank you for being here, Richard. He's good, huh? Because this is what matters. This is what matters in our community. The fact that every single young person in our community, regardless of background, regardless of neighborhood or family status or where their family is from, has the opportunity to succeed. And primarily that opportunity is through great education. I'd like to tell you a story. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Connaught School. It's a school in downtown Calgary. And I was there at Connaught School, elementary school, 240 students. And those students came from 61 different countries. They spoke 42 different languages. And as I looked out at those kids, and I talked to them, and I heard their stories, some of them had, frankly, terrifying stories. In their young age, they had been through so much: war, deprivation, losing their family. I talked to one young man, grade 6. He was singing in the school choir, 12 years old. He had had the opportunity to go to school for 6 months out of his entire life. And I was looking at all of these kids from all over the world wearing their matching t-shirts that said "Happy Birthday to Connaught School." And you know, most of them came to this country without a thing. If they were lucky, they had their parents. Some of them didn't. And so again, it would have been easy to feel bad for them. It would have been easy to feel despair. I didn't feel despair at all that day, because I looked out at those kids and I knew that they were going to be just fine. That they had come to a community that was going to look after them, that was going to help them succeed and live the best lives they could live. That they'd had the opportunity to avail themselves of an outstanding public education. That they would learn English and that they would be just fine. And so instead of talking to the kids that day, I turned my attention to their parents, who were all sitting at the back of the gym at the assembly. And I said to them, you know, I know many of you have had very difficult times before you came to Canada and since you came to Canada. And I wish that I could say today that those difficult times are over. There won't be any more tough times. I can't say that. But what I can tell you, and what I told them that day, is you made the right choice. You made the right choice by coming here, by coming to a community that's going to look after not only your kids, but that's going to look after you. And so you have an obligation back to this country to live a great life yourself, to live your life to the highest possible potential of whatever you want to be. Don't give up. Don't take a menial job that's below you just because you know your kids are going to be okay, because we want you to succeed as well. And that, I think, is one of the things that is really incredibly special about this community. And sometimes we forget about that. When we get caught up in small-minded, intolerant arguments with people about whether or not you should wear the veil when you vote, whether or not you should have your kirpan in public places, these things don't matter. What matters is the fact that we live in a community where every single one of us has the opportunity to live a great life. And that's something that we have to celebrate every day and that we have to continue to fight for every day. And when we hear the forces of small-mindedness and the forces of intolerance, we have to fight against them. And we have to say what makes this community work is the fact that we're a place where diversity works, where pluralism works, where multiculturalism works, where people of any faith background or any ethnic background have the chance to live a great life. It didn't happen by accident, my friends. It happened because our ancestors, those who came before us and those who are here today, continue to fight for that every single day. And so that's my real message. You know, I remember when I was elected, and to this day, today I did an interview with the BBC. The BBC is broadcasting their flagship news show from Calgary tomorrow. And one of the reasons that they're broadcasting the flagship show from Calgary is because they want to highlight diversity and immigration in our community. And of course, the first question was what the first question always is to people from outside Canada. And the first question was, well, you're the first Muslim mayor of a major North American city. How's that work? And you know, I'm sort of tired of answering that question. And the reason I'm tired of answering it is because, as you all know, in Calgary, nobody cared one whit what my faith background was when I was running. What they cared about is what I said about public transit, or how we're going to balance the city, of what it is that we do together in our community. But you know what? I answered that question, and I still continue to answer that question, because I think we've got a story that's worth telling. You know, we live in a world where, since the City Council was elected, we've had the Prime Minister of Great Britain, the President of France, the Chancellor of Germany, all say that in their countries and their realities, multiculturalism has been a failure, that Muslim immigration to their countries has been a failure. And it's not up to us to question what the reality is in their country. It's their reality, after all. But it is up to us to say it doesn't have to be like that. That there are places where Muslims can live great lives as Muslims while continuing to live great lives as passionate and patriotic Canadians. And we've got to tell that story. And we've got to continue to tell that story. And we've got to be an example for people from around the world. So there's a danger here. And the danger is that we, those of us who belong to minority communities, will become insular, that we'll keep only to ourselves, and will work only on strengthening our own community. I say that would be a mistake, that we have been given so much by the broader community outside those doors, and that it's our responsibility to continue to make that community stronger, to continue to pave the way for those who come after us. I think that's incredibly important. And I hope that all of you will take that into your hearts as you think about what you want to do going forward. You know, I'm wearing a little pin with a number 3 on it. I always wear this pin. And this pin is about a little project. Alderman Putman's always wears it too, but I noticed it fell off today. This pin is about a little project that we launched earlier this year. It's a very simple project, which is we're asking every single Calgarian this year to do 3 things for the community. 3 things outside of your family and outside of your workplace. And to talk about these 3 things, to share the stories, and to mentor others to do the same. Now, these could be big things. Joining your local community association, taking on a new volunteer role. They could be small things. I always tell my favorite story, which is the fellow who said to me, for one of my 3 things, I'm going to have a barbecue. But I'm going to have it in my front yard instead of my backyard. And I'm going to invite all my neighbors who I don't really know. You know, there was a point at which elementary school in Calgary, Connaught School, adopted 3 things, and all of the kids pledged to do 3 things for the community. And I was a little bit skeptical, because I thought, these are 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds? What in the world do they understand about doing things for the community? So I asked for the list of the things that they had pledged to do. I'm going to pick up litter on my way to school. I'm going to be nicer to my little brother. That one could be tough. It also violates the outside of your family rule, but I'll let it go. There's a new girl in my class. I'm going to invite her to my house so that she can make some friends. These kids get it. They understand what kind of acts it takes to build our community. And the great news is,